Tuesday night, President Obama joined a long list of presidents making a case for war or U.S. involvement in a conflict abroad.
When, with modest effort and risk, we can stop children from being gassed to death and thereby make our own children safer over the long run, I believe we should act.
Consider Franklin Delano Roosevelt and his Lend-Lease plan, intended to help Britain push back against Hitler's advance and give the U.S. a supporting role in a growing conflict in Europe. America still bore the scars of the First World War, and a fragile economy was trying to recover from the Great Depression.
We must be the great arsenal of democracy. For us, this is an emergency as serious as war itself.
Following the speech, Roosevelt succeeded in getting a reluctant Congress to approve his plan. In 1964, Lyndon Baines Johnson announced that the North Vietnamese had attacked U.S. destroyers in the Gulf of Tonkin.
Aggression by terror against the peaceful villagers of South Vietnam has now been joined by open aggression on the high seas against the United States of America.
And made this promise.
Our response for the present will be limited and fitting. We Americans know, although others appear to forget, the risk of spreading conflict.
As Vietnam stretched another decade, his words would bring accusations that Congress and the American public had been misled. On April 14, 1986, President Ronald Reagan made this Oval Office address announcing U.S. airstrikes on Libya.
Despite our repeated warnings, Gaddafi continued his reckless policy of intimidation, his relentless pursuit of terror. He counted on America to be passive. He counted wrong. I said that we would act with others if possible, and alone if necessary, to ensure that terrorists have no sanctuary anywhere. Tonight, we have.
Almost 5 years later, Reagan's successor, George H.W. Bush, announced Operation Desert Storm.
As I report to you, air attacks are underway against military targets in Iraq.
Those attacks began 2 days after the January 15th deadline set by the UN Security Council ordering Iraqi forces to withdraw from Kuwait. President Bush offered this reassurance.
I've told the American people before that this will not be another Vietnam. And I repeat this here tonight. Our troops will have the best possible support in the entire world, and they will not be asked to fight with one hand tied behind their back.
In March 1999, President Bill Clinton made his case for intervention in Kosovo, a move that was highly unpopular at the time.
We act to protect thousands of innocent people in Kosovo from a mounting military offensive. We act to prevent a wider war, to defuse a powder keg at the heart of Europe that has exploded twice before in this century with catastrophic results.
On March 19, 2003, George W. Bush vowed to finish the war his father had begun, promising to disarm Saddam Hussein and free the Iraqi people. This was after Secretary of State Colin Powell made the case to the UN that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction, an account that was based on faulty intelligence.
Our nation enters this conflict reluctantly, yet our purpose is sure. The people of the United States and our friends and allies will not live at the mercy of an outlaw regime that threatens the peace with weapons of mass murder. We will meet that threat now with our Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines, so that we do not have to meet it later with armies of firefighters and police and doctors on the streets of our cities.